Thank you.
Yeah.
I honestly would rather feel better than be right.
Yes. It's
So
hard, though, when you're so right about so many things, isn't it?
I need some clarity about a particular person. Is this person not a vibrational match for me? And I should just move on?
What we've been talking about mostly so far here today is about you being a vibrational match to your inner being.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters most. So the question is a little different than you ask it. The question is, can I focus upon this other person and be in harmony with my inner being at the same time? That's the question.
I would like to feel more comfort from my inner being. I would like to feel my inner being more in general, actually.
Well, we think that's a good idea all the time. That's why we encourage meditation, and that's why we talk about feeling good and so forth. But the reason that anyone would say, I'm wondering if this is just not a match and if I should just move on, is because you're focused all over the place. Sometimes you're focused upon positive aspects, sometimes you're focused upon negative aspects. So the relationship that you're describing to us is not the relationship with this other person from whom you're wondering if you should move on. You're describing your relationship with your own inner being. And the answer to that, should I move on from the relationship with my inner being, is always couldn't if you wanted to.
Uh-huh.
That's an eternal relationship. And so don't you think it's interesting that your question ties right into your very first comments about rather feeling good than being right?
Yeah.
So don't you think that your work for a little while is just to really establish in a conscious, deliberate way your relationship with your inner being?
Yes.
Every relationship is changing. Every relationship is moldable and pliable. Do you know how you could mold a rascally rascal into a harmonious partner?
Do tell.
By being so practiced at focusing on positive aspects that you become the attractor of that. People think that relationships are about what that person is asserting, even though there's no assertion, when really what it is about what this person is attracting. Well, this person, like all persons, has had a lot of exposure to a lot of people and a lot of experiences, and so you have a lot of expectations. So you've got to start thinking, believing. A belief is a thought that you keep thinking. Expecting is even stronger than that. Trending. You've got to begin to trend in harmony with the vortex version of your relationship, which means you have to sort of disregard what's currently happening while you focus upon the relationship that you want. And you can get so good at holding yourself there that that other person can't give you anything other than what you're trending about. That's the way the law of attraction works. It's so interesting to watch people, whether it's one relationship with one person, or whether it's a group of people, or whether it's a bunch of people, or whether it's a whole nation or worldwide conflicts that are going on. Almost everybody is certain that they need to be different. Esther's sister and her daughters have a funny phrase that they said all the time that they were young girls and dating. It went like this: if he was different, he'd be perfect. There are so many things that are not the way that you want them to be, or not the way you want them to feel. But if you're running around needing anybody to be different in any way in order for you to feel better, you are really going about it the hard way. It's really hit or miss.
I just don't know what else
but
to
you
do.
Can
kind of.
Say what?
I don't know how to do it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you start by making a list of positive aspects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do that. I'm kind of not sure I even want this. So I know it doesn't make sense.
You want what you want, you just don't know if this will bring it. But as you keep examining the that you don't think will bring it, you hold yourself apart from all of the this.
I know.
So that's why it comes back around to, I must find thoughts that feel good to me if I'm going to get any of this in physical version form. But instead, most humans are going about it backwards. They're taking score of all the stuff that's physical out there. That's a good one, that's not so good, that's not so good, whether it's a person or a trait within a person. And then they've got their vibrational frequency all jacked up with some wanted and some not wanted. So most people are not even close to being a vibrational match to what they want. And then complaining why what they want won't come. And then asking the question, should I just give it up? Should I just walk away? It's a question that's been coming to us in lots of different ways. People usually say, I'm having a hard time with this such and such in this situation. Should I leave the situation? And we sometimes say, yes, we would if we were standing in your physical shoes. But now you got to get out of town too.
Right. And then the country and then the planet. I know. I've listened to a lot in the last year.
So there's no way around it. You cannot get to where you want to be as long as you're focused upon the aspects of anything that make you feel like you want to push. Isn't that interesting? Let's just think about this just for a moment in this very poignant way. So I want profoundly so many things, and you make me angry because this aspect of you doesn't match that. So what did you just say? I've chosen to focus upon something that's not going to let me get what I want, and I'm going to blame you for demonstrating it. When the only reason anybody is demonstrating anything to you is because of your expectation, because your thoughts about it, because of your trending. You can change it. You can change the way you feel about everything. You can change the way you feel about everything. So let's make a list of positive aspects.
About
whatever it is we're talking about. I like to have fun. I like to be with people who are fun. I like to be with people who are clear-minded, who have the ability to focus on things. I like to be with people who are uplifting in nature, who are more prone to look for things to appreciate. It's so fun to be with somebody who looks for things to appreciate. I like to look for things to appreciate. I like the aspect of anyone who can find things to appreciate. I like someone who has a zest for life, someone who is still eager to get out there and have some new experiences. I like to be around people who like to be around people, but I like to be around people who don't need people to change in order to enjoy them. I like people who are good selective sifters, who can look out at a variety of things, characteristics in people or characteristics in crowds, and pick from them like they would from a buffet. Not needing something on the buffet to be eliminated from the planet, just not choosing to focus upon it. As you focus like that, you'll begin to notice that there'll be changes even in that relationship.
Also, I would like to be that way.
Well, that's sort of the big story, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm not really mad at you. I'm mad at me. But in either case, my inner being isn't mad at either of us. And so I'm using my madness at you or my madness at me to keep myself from harmonizing with what I want. So this isn't going to work as long as I'm doing that, no matter how many promises we make to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.